Have you ever met a woman who carries herself like a quiet storm? The kind who doesn't beg for attention, yet somehow commands it without a word. The kind who walks into a room and doesn't scan for approval because she's already decided. She belongs there? Most people misunderstand her. They call her cold, distant, even arrogant. But the truth is far more fascinating. She isn't withholding warmth, she's selective with it. She isn't afraid of loneliness, she's mastered it. And that, according to Carl Jung, is the very thing that makes her irresistible. Because here's what most people never see. What looks like aloofness is actually sovereignty. What seems like detachment is really a deep, unshakable intimacy with herself. Jung called this the process of individuation, the journey of becoming whole, not for the world, but for you. And when a woman reaches that place, something shifts. She no longer needs to be desired, she chooses to be. And that changes everything. Think about it. How many times have you bent yourself to fit someone else's idea of beauty, of charm, of worth? How many times have you dimmed your light because someone told you it was too bright, or worse, because you believed them? But the woman who has faced her own shadows, who has sat with her own solitude long enough to know its gifts, she doesn't chase love. She attracts it. Not because she's perfect, but because she's complete. Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and that's the secret." An irresistible woman isn't following a script. She's written her own. She's not performing femininity, she's embodying it. And that kind of authenticity is magnetic. It's not about being liked by everyone. It's about being real, even if it means being misunderstood. But here's where society gets uncomfortable. A woman who knows her own worth can't be controlled. A woman who's at peace with solitude can't be manipulated by the fear of being alone. And that kind of power is unsettling to those who still believe a woman's value is tied to how much she's wanted. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you let yourself not be needed? When was the last time you chose yourself not as an act of rebellion, but as an act of love? Because that's where the magic begins. Not in the desperate chase for affection, but in the quiet certainty that you are already enough. And if that truth resonates with you, if it stirs something in you that knows there's more to your story, then stay with me. Because this is only the beginning. There's a moment in every woman's life when she realizes she's been wearing a mask for too long. Maybe it happened when you laughed at a joke that wasn't funny, or when you nodded along to an opinion that made your soul flinch. That moment, that split second of awareness is where the alchemy begins, because here's the paradox Carl Jung discovered. What makes a woman truly irresistible isn't her polished perfection. It's her flaws. Not the curated, Instagram-friendly kind, but the raw, unedited ones. The ones she's learned to stop apologizing for. Jung called this the shadow, the parts of ourselves we've been taught to hide. The anger that doesn't fit that nice girl narrative. The ambition that threatens fragile egos. The sensuality that's been shamed into silence. But here's the truth they never told you. Your shadows aren't your weaknesses. They're your superpowers. Think about the women who haunt history. Cleopatra wasn't remembered for her obedience. Frida Kahlo didn't paint pretty lies. They were irresistible because they dared to be difficult. Because they understood what Seneca meant when he said, "The bravest sight in the world is to see a great soul struggling against adversity, and that's the second act of your transformation." Realizing that your so-called too muchness is actually your enoughness. That woman you admire, the one who walks into rooms like she owns them. She's not fearless. She's just stopped letting fear decide who she gets to be. But this is where most women get stuck. We've been conditioned to believe that to be loved, we must be convenient, pleasant, uncomplicated. Yet Jung's research reveals the opposite. It's the women who've made peace with their contradictions who become magnetic. The ones who can be both soft and strong, who can be kind without being weak, who understand that boundaries aren't walls, they're the gates to a sanctuary. So, let me ask you, what parts of yourself have you exiled in the name of being palatable? That sharp tongue you've dulled? Those unconventional dreams you've tucked away? That fire in your belly you've tried to smother? Here's what your soul knows, but the world has tried to make you forget. Those exact traits are your golden keys. Because an irresistible woman isn't a blank canvas. She's a masterpiece of light and shadow. She doesn't hide her scars, she wears them like the rings of a sacred tree, each one telling the story of how she grew. And when you start embracing this, when you stop shrinking to fit small spaces, something miraculous happens. The right people recognize you. Not the ones who want a reflection of their own ego, but those who've done their own shadow work. The kind of love that finds you then isn't based on need. It's based on recognition, but this journey isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to yourself, to that unshakable core Jung called the self, the you, beneath all the roles, all the masks. And if you're feeling that pull, that quiet, persistent whisper telling you there's more to your story, then you're already on your way. The final piece? Understanding why this kind of power transforms not just you, but everyone around you. And that's exactly where we're going next. There's a secret that ancient myths and modern psychology agree on. The most transformative power a woman can possess isn't beauty, nor charm, nor even intelligence. It's the radical courage to be whole. Think of the Greek goddess Artemis Wild, untamed, answering to no man. Or the Hindu goddess Kali, fierce, destructive, yet infinitely loving. These archetypes survived centuries because they represent a truth that patriarchy tried to bury. A woman who integrates all parts of herself becomes unstoppable. Carl Jung saw this too. He wrote, "Where your fear is, there is your task. But what if we took it further? Where your fear is, there is your power." The parts of yourself you've been taught to suppress, your intensity, your solitude, your messy emotions, these aren't flaws in your design. They're the very things that make you magnetic. Consider this. The woman who doesn't chase love becomes its most natural recipient. The woman who refuses to perform femininity on demand becomes its purest expression. It's what Jung called enantiodromia, the principle that every quality contains its opposite. Your vulnerability contains your strength. Your sensitivity houses your resilience. And your willingness to walk away, that's where your deepest connections begin. But here's what no one tells you. When you start living this way, the world will push back. People will call you too much when you're simply enough. They'll mistake your boundaries for coldness, your standards for arrogance. Why? Because a woman who's complete unto herself disrupts the oldest lie of all that women exist. To be completed by others, yet this is precisely where your magic lies. In that space between who they told you to be and who you truly are. In the quiet revolution of choosing solitude over shallow company, speaking truths instead of pleasant lease, living from overflow, not emptiness. The French philosopher Camus wrote, "The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion." And isn't that the ultimate revelation? That what makes a woman irresistible isn't some secret trick, it's her refusal to abandon herself. So, let me leave you with this vision. Imagine a woman who knows bone deep that she is already what she seeks. A woman whose presence doesn't beg permission but bestows it. That woman isn't some unattainable ideal. She's who you become every time you choose authenticity over approval, every time you honor your depth over their comfort. If this journey has stirred something in you, if you feel that quiet resonance in your chest, then you've already begun. The path to being irresistible isn't about changing who you are. It's about remembering. And the world has been waiting for exactly what you've been hiding. If this message resonated with you, if it touched something deep inside that knows your wholeness is your power, then perhaps it was meant for someone else too. Share it with a sister, a friend, or any woman who needs this reminder that she is already enough. And if you'd like more conversations like this ones that honor the depth of your journey, consider joining our community. Because the world needs more women who dare to be unapologetically themselves. Until next time, remember, your magic isn't in becoming someone else. It's in remembering who you've always been.